Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. And the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My story, my brother, it happened here in South Africa, and it goes on like this. So I used to work for this other man. This man, he has a lot of cars, and these cars that he has, they are about 20, and all of them, they are on Uber as well as Bolt. So I used to work as his Uber driver, and the thing that I started noticing about this guy was that most of his workers, like his drivers, they were always going to Brazil. And on the day that he told me that he wanted to give me an opportunity whereby my life was going to change forever, I then was really scared, because I was like, this guy, he wants to make me join him in the thing that maybe he was doing of selling drugs and stuff like that. So I was really scared. But this guy then said that no, he was not into that stuff whereby he sells drugs and stuff like that. He actually said that he does not like doing that stuff, and he told me that there was another thing that he wanted to get me involved into, and after he was going to have me involved in that deal, I was going to go my own way. I was never going to report to him about this deal. He just wanted to link me up with some people that were going to help me so that I can earn a little bit of a living. So he then told me that he was going to take me to this other guy. The guy that he was going to take me to, it was an Indian guy. When we went there, my brother, I really got scared, because I saw that there were a lot of expensive cars that were parked outside. By the time that I went indoors, I really got scared, because there were a lot of black guys, and these black guys that were in the living room speaking with that Indian guy, all of them, they were like wealthy. When I looked at them, none of them ever spoke with me. They just pretended as if I didn't even exist in their own world. And these guys, they were drinking like a very expensive wine. So this wine that they were drinking, it was like thick in color. It was as thick as blood, but it was not like red, just like blood. But I don't know what kind of wine is as thick as blood. After that Indian guy had finished drinking the wine that was inside his glass bottle, that was when he said, come follow me. You know, a lot of Indians, they love having houses which are double-storied. That is the kind of house that the Indian guy had. It was a double-story house. He then invited me upstairs, so I followed him. But whilst I was following him, I was really scared because of everything that I had seen in his house, like those guys that were not even talking to me or doing anything. It really got me so nervous. But anyway, because I had been promised a lot of money, I just followed him and I went with him upstairs. So when we went upstairs, he then said that we were supposed to go into this other room. And when we entered into that room, initially I thought that maybe it was just one of his offices, but he said no, this is not my office. It was actually his study room. So when we got into the study room, as I was just looking around, and I saw that all over the place there were a lot of books, and these books, they were like your magic books. Some of them, they were like your Harry Potter novels. Most of those books, they were all about witchcraft, and there was even a book that taught people how to perform spells as well as how to become a witch. So I really got nervous. Then that guy, he then told me that there was a deal that he wanted to have with me. And when I looked around, I saw that there was an altar inside his study room. You know, like in their culture, they usually have this altar whereby on top of that altar, there will be an idol in form of a man that will be placed on top of that altar. It was a golden idol of a man. So he took me to that altar and he asked me if I will be able to perform like the ritual that he wanted me to perform. And I said, yes, I was willing to perform this kind of ritual that he wanted me to perform. He then said, okay, hold my hands. And as I was holding his hands, he then took my hand and he placed it on top of that altar. And he made me to promise that I was going to deliver whatever he wanted me to deliver. Well, in that moment, I never thought of anything. The only thing that was like on my mind, it was about the money that the man, even my boss, had promised me, because he had said that I was going to get a lot of money out of this deal. So that was the only thing that was in my mind. After he had made me to promise him on that altar that I was going to follow all of his commands, my brother, I then just fell down. I just felt dizzy and I fell down. The next thing that happened is that when I woke up, I saw that he was sitting just behind his office desk, and he came and we then started discussing about the things that he wanted me to do for him. So this Indian guy said that all that he was going to request from me was some sanitary pads. You know, those pads whereby if a woman is on her periods, she has to use something so as to stop her blood flow. So that was the kind of pads that he wanted me to give him. So I said, it is easy, why don't you just go and buy these sanitary pads in the shop? And he said that the sanitary pads that he needed, someone was going to tell me exactly how I was supposed to get these sanitary pads. I said it is fine. Then there was another guy who was going to be the one that will be taking me to the places whereby I was going to get these sanitary pads. This guy, he was a black South African guy. He used to come with this very nice car, and when he would come with this very nice car, he would pick me up. Usually what he will do is that we would go into those neighborhoods whereby they just put their stuff in some refuse bins. Then on a particular day, they will place their refuse bins outside of their houses, or maybe outside of their complexes. That is the place where we used to go and get these sanitary pads. We used to target these other suburbs, and at the suburb where we used to go and target the houses, there was this other mall. So this guy, what he will do is he would drive with me to that suburb, then he would park his car by the mall, and I will start walking on foot as I will be going around the neighborhood. That guy, the Indian guy, he had given me a small plastic. You know, usually here in South Africa, if you buy some tomatoes or something very small like bananas, they usually give you a small black plastic bag. That is the kind of a plastic bag that was given to me by that Indian guy, and he said that if this plastic bag gets damaged, you are not supposed to use it anymore. You are supposed to return it back to me. So that is the kind of a plastic bag that I will be using. So what I will do is that when I will be like going to work doing this hustle, I will just look for some old shoes as well as a very dirty jacket, so that people that will be seeing me as I will be busy picking up from their refuse bag, as I'll be busy picking up from their refuse bin, they will think that maybe this guy is just a Nyawupe guy, or maybe someone who is just looking for those empty cans so that I can go and sell them at the recycling plants. But I was actually on duty doing that hustle whereby I was looking for women's used pads. So I would walk around the neighborhoods as I would be collecting those sanitary pads. After I was done, then I would call the guy, and the guy, he would quickly come to me and he would pick me up. So I did this thing for 6 months, each and every day, whereby they knew that in this neighborhood they put their refuse bags outside. Then I would be taken there just maybe for a few hours, where I would go and collect those sanitary pads. Then I would continue being an Uber driver. I did this for 6 months, my brother. Each and every month, the salary that I was making, not like from being an Uber driver, but from this hustle whereby I was gathering all of those used sanitary pads, and where they were taking these sanitary pads, I do not even know. But all that I knew was that this was like my job, to search for used sanitary pads until that small plastic bag that was given to me by that Indian guy was full. On some days, I would only get 4 or 3 used sanitary pads, but that was okay. I was always getting paid at the end of the month. I was getting paid 12,000 rands. But my brother, from the first month that I started earning this money that I was being given by this Indian guy, I never did anything with that money. 6 months, that was when the guy told me that I was not supposed to come to his house anymore, because at the place where he was staying, it is more like a real estate and you cannot get in there if you are not invited. So what he used to do is that he had said that I was one of the guy that used to come to his house to do the garden services. So then they said that they had seen then they said that they didn't see where one of their lawnmowers was, and they said that it was me who had stolen that lawnmower, but it was just a lie, because this guy, he was just using me so that I can collect those sanitary pads for him. I was not doing any garden services for him. So when the guy fired me, as well as my boss, the one that had those 20 Uber cars, he also fired me. I don't know why he ended up firing me. But my brother, when I sit down right now, when I start to calculate that in 6 months from that hustle, I managed to make about 70,000 rands, but all of that money, I never did anything with that money. If me and my wife, if we were buying like your expensive clothes, I'll say that maybe this is the reason as to why we were blowing money, because we were buying expensive clothes. But my brother, I never bought any clothes with that money. Usually what would happen is that if I would be given the money within 1 week, I would have already blown 7,000. The next week, then the other 5,000 will be gone. And when I started doing this hustle, my wife, she didn't know what kind of a hustle that I was doing at that time. She had actually said that I want us to go back home so that we can buy a piece of land so that we can build our own house. Even if it is in the rural areas, it is fine with me. But my brother, I just said no, we do not have to do it like now. And at the end of the day, whenever I think about this story, it pains me a lot that each and every month, at one point in my life, I was making 12k, as well as being an Uber driver. So I was earning a lot, but I never did anything with all of that money, my brother, that I was making. So this is my story. It pains me a lot. So I just want people to be very careful, because they do not know where these people that steal their sanitary pads, where they take these sanitary pads. So people just need to be very careful, especially when it is like time for you to throw your sanitary pads. Just make sure, because you'll just think that maybe this is a Nyaupe boy that is taking something from your refuse bag, but yet they are getting something from your refuse bag. So that is my story, brother Nashi. I used to work for this other Indian guy who was a ritualist, and he was making me to collect these sanitary pads, the used sanitary pads from refuse bags. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from one of our dear brothers, and we had to give you this translation. Indeed, strange things do happen in this world.